going to take a quick peek over here at the finished site, at the code for it, so that you can see the sections that I'm going to put in. And I want to talk to you a little bit about divs and other things that you can use that basically do the same thing as divs. Okay, so what we see here, we've got our code, our CSS, which is up here. I'm not going to show that to you in the finished site that I built. But here inside the body, you've got your opening div that holds literally everything. Okay, inside of that is the navigation, and inside of that navigation area is your logo and the actual nav links, the buttons. I don't have them linked to anything yet, but they are there. So that is, when you go to the actual site, that is this part up here. All right. Then we come down, we close out this div section. We're still inside this div section. We close out that one, and then we get to our main content. Notice this comment here. That is supposed to tell us what this next area of the code is. And then we come down here, we have our opening div for our main content, and then we have our opening div for, oh wait, that's not a div, is it? So this is where I want to talk to you about two different things that kind of do the exact same thing. There is section and there's div. And here, this section is classed as article. So it says section. I guess that means it does something totally different. Well, at least in this case, section does nothing different. Here, let me show you. I'm going to take section, and I'm going to use my quick shortcut that selects both of them. So now you see both of them are selected. I'm going to replace them both with div, and I'm going to save it. All right. So now that I've saved that, I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to refresh the page. You didn't see it because it's refreshing locally, but it did refresh the page. And it did nothing to this part right here. It's literally feeling the same when I look at it. It appears the same. So what is the difference? Functionally, at this point, div and section do nothing different. So I'm going to keep it as section just to show you that you can use that code. Inside here, you'll notice I've got fairly generic code. I've got H2, I've got my paragraph tags, end paragraph and begin paragraph. I've got another H2 and so on and so forth. And all of that just cascades on down throughout this section or this div. The next thing you see are our tower adds, and these are of course divs. You'll notice that I don't use section anywhere else through here, and I'm trying my best to use comments to kind of say, look, this is where stuff is. So I've got an opening div that surrounds both of my tower adds. So here I've got tower add content. And let's put in another comment. So I'm going to put in my brackets 1 2 1 2, and I'm going to say tower add 1. I'm going to now close tower add 1. Sometimes I don't always do this. I try to put my word end in all caps, and I'm going to put tower add 2. And copy that, scroll down to, remember to use this little trick where you find the div and then you scroll with your cursor in the same place and then hit that and end. All right, so now we see we have one big section, one big div right here. Okay, that div holds my two tower adds. Let's go look at what that is in code. So I've got two tower adds. I call them tower because typically over here these will be taller than they are wide. Okay, I've got tower add number 1. I've got tower add number 2. It's got an image at the top. It's got, and these are all the exact same stuff as far as code. The function of the code is doing the same thing, getting an oil change in your code in your truck, 57-point inspection, got a button here, you've got an expiration date. So you look at them, and really all I did for that is I grabbed this code. Once I got this one perfect, I then copied that code, pasted it here, and then changed the image, changed the text, and if I wanted to, I could change the other things like May 31. So we'll do that right there, and we will refresh, and you'll notice that my offer expires here, so that you can see that really all I'm doing is just reusing code. Again, copy and paste is your friend here. I'm totally cool with you copying some code, so long as you can go in and actually make it work. But again, in this code, I'm not doing a lot of styling inside the code. I'm using class. I'm using class, and I don't think I'm using ID anywhere in here. Okay? I am sometimes putting my styling to call out specific HTML tags. So like div. Of course, in my code for the div one, I actually commented that out so that it wouldn't be effective. But you can put things into your styles that will help you find things that call out div or that call out button, that sort of stuff. So we're going to build out, and I'm going to bring in all of this stuff here. Again, we're going to start with after we get finished with our navigation, we're going to come in and at the same level of div, the same indent level, we're going to come in, we're going to create a new div that's going to be our primary container for our content, and inside of it I want you to choose whether or not you want to use section or div and have that class. And the one I chose, the name I used was article, and then inside of that I'm just putting fake filler text. Okay, and then we close out that div or that section, but we don't close out that primary main content div. All right, after we finish our article div, we're going to then put a comment in that says tower ads, and we're going to take that tower ad and we're going to put our tower ads inside of it. So a primary div outside, and then indent, we're going to have two secondary divs inside this primary div. And yes, feel free to put comments in so that you know what it is. Inside of our ad itself, we're going to have an image. Okay, I just grabbed this on the Googler, and we're going to add a class to it, and that class is add img, all one word. We're going to put a paragraph inside of it, and this paragraph will be styled a little bit later. And this button, you can just throw the word button in there inside of brackets, and then schedule service. And here, this one, we're definitely going to be using a style that selects button. Lastly, we're going to throw another paragraph in with a class of expiration, and that expiration will put a date in there, and we'll end that, and then we'll come to the end of our div, and there's an ad. Once you've got one of those ads, copy and paste it, and then maybe change the image, change some of the text, but it will take on the behaviors and look of all the other stuff. When we're finished with that, this will be the end of our primary content. Okay, so let's put end main content. Okay, that's the one that I forgot to put in. So now we have main content and we have end main content. So we are going to be building from here to here. If we can get this content in place, it should look something like this. Oh my goodness, that looks horrible. And it should. It's totally fine for it to look horrible. Oh, this is our ad. This is how bad it looks right now. See our button here? I see how bad that looks. See how our expiration date looks horrible? And that's totally fine. We're going to put some styling in so that Mr. Tomas Mangiano, that's the name I just made up for this guy, that his image will be shrunk down and you won't even notice him. All right, and you'll get this 57-point inspection. We'll make it a different color. In mine, it's blue. This button will get a color. It gives some extra size to it, and this expiration date will get really, really small. That's what we're going to do in the next video. So come back and we'll start looking at the styling.